So I think, and I'm on record, have talked to government and others about the need to continue to evolve the PREVENT programme. It was built for a particular period where there was a model of radicalisation that took people with an interest, whether that was political or distortedly religious, and moved them through extremism to violent extremism to terrorism. That ladder of radicalisation has really been reversed. We've now got a significant number of young people, not exclusively boys, but many boys, who are exposed to violence, to the idea and notion of violence that becomes fixating for them, and then are searching for motivations, justifications, and a framing for that with all sorts of ideology. So people who will look at, in one internet search, look at neo-Nazi material, and another look at Islamist extremist material. PREVENT was built originally effectively to deal with radicalisation. First, that Islamist extremist radicalisation and a developing response to far-right extremism, and to support individuals and work with individuals to reduce that risk. The kind of interventions which were put in place are not the ones which will respond to the violence-fixated individuals that we're seeing now. The challenge for the PREVENT programme and for the wider system is that this is an and problem, not an or problem. We are still seeing, of course, committed, zealous, idealistic, or ideologically motivated, I should say, terrorist radicalisation. But what we do have, sadly, is a toxic online environment, which is leading to the connection and radicalisation of young people, in particular, to a range of ideologies or none. So I welcome the recommendations of the independent review on PREVENT that's been carried out, the appointment of a new independent commissioner on PREVENT, someone policing knows well and knows thoughtful about these issues. And I suppose if I can just link back to a point I made in relation to an earlier question, PREVENT is part of the preventative response to these questions. But there is a fundamental question about how on earth these young people can access this material online and connect online in the ways that they can. And so we can PREVENT is hopefully catching people, identifying people before they are close to violence. Quite a lot of counter-terrorism policing is what we've talked about as sort of goal line defence. It really is. If people have got to that stage, quite a lot has happened in their lives. It's happening quicker because of online radicalisation, and so we do need to see the responsibility of big tech companies fill some of that gap which has been created, and we need our regulators to do really well in that space as well. So a shorter answer, Assembly Member, would have been to say a lot of change is required. We should also recognise that, I think in the last year about 10,000 referrals into PREVENT. So if you add that, and about 7,000 typically in the years before the Southport attacks. So if you add all of those up over the lifetime of PREVENT, there are a lot of people who have touched PREVENT, and it would be surprising if some of them didn't present enduring risk despite the interventions. We want that number to be zero, of course, but it would be surprising if it was, and we had a wholly effective response. But 10,000 people referred in the last year. We should also acknowledge the success of PREVENT where that has happened, and it's happened in many instances to de-escalate and manage risk and to refer to services. The final thing I'll say on this, if I may, is those services into which we would seek to refer to people are creaking and under enormous strain. So child and adolescent mental health services, services for neurodivergence, they are all under enormous pressure. And so PREVENT might be a gateway, but what it had previously done in terms of de-radicalisation often now needs to be supported by those other services which are often poorly placed to meet that need.